Yeah, it's my microphone. Yeah. No, it's my mic. There is a brand new Marvel Studios movie that is hitting cinemas this weekend, right before President's Day and February break for all the kids out there. And I'm excited to talk about this one because this might be one of the worst MCU movies to date. Welcome back, film fans. It is Brad from Let's Be Real Brad, and today in the channel, I want to talk to you guys about the brand new superhero movie called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is a sequel to Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it is the 31st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The film is once again directed by Peyton Reed. So going into this film, I was pretty excited to check it out, considering the fact that this looks like a really good movie with Ant-Man and the Wasp coming back, and you have King the Conqueror, and feeling like this is going to be the big kickoff to Phase 5. Unfortunately, this movie was kind of a letdown. And one of the reasons why I say this is because the entire concept of this movie is just about setting up another Marvel movie. I didn't feel like I gained anything from this movie. The characters are literally the same as they were in the beginning of the film. Nothing really changes with King the Conqueror. We're just given a ton of exposition that is so vague and doesn't really say anything about what King the Conqueror is going to do, and he just repeats this over and over again while characters are just going through the quantum realm and dealing with a bunch of weird creatures, and then they have to fight King the Conqueror, and like nothing really happens in this movie. Besides all that, is this movie entertaining? Well, I don't really think it's all that entertaining. Like, there are moments where it feels like your typical cliched Marvel film that has a ton of action and special effects and funny and jokey moments, but that happens so few and far between because this movie is just a rinse and repeat of itself, of characters just sitting in a room having a really boring, very underwritten conversation about what these characters are going to do, and then one character just explains everything to the audience like we're like 10 years old. I just felt very disrespected watching this movie just because Marvel Studios has all the money in the world to make a great Ant-Man movie, and they have proven to make really good Ant-Man movies before. So what in the hell happened with this one? But one of the things that has been a criticism of Marvel Studios for quite some time now has got to be the visual effects, because I gotta tell you, this is gotta be the worst looking MCU film to date. This movie has a reported budget over $200 million, which is pretty much the normal for most Marvel films, but I gotta tell you, this movie looks awful. The first time that the characters enter into the quantum realm, everything looks so incredibly fake that I just didn't believe anything about where they were, especially when this movie is almost entirely on a green screen with just CGI. It just doesn't look good. I'm just getting tired of Marvel Studios just phoning it in with this type of movie that just looks unfinished, and I don't want to give any crap to the animators and the visual effects artists because they are completely overworked and underpaid, and I think Marvel Studios needs to just do less movies. It just looks so unconvincing, especially when you have two other movies in this franchise like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2 that had a ton of practical effects and amazing visual effects, and both those movies still look incredible to this day. But this movie is everything that I don't like about Marvel films. But if there are a few things that I did like about this movie, I would have to go with the performances. Like, Jonathan Majors does a pretty good job as King the Conqueror, even though his character is very underwritten and not all that interesting, but I think in the future he is going to be a great villain. I also really enjoyed Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. I mean, the guy just does no wrong. He is super funny, he is super charming, and he knows how to make this character so likable. I also really enjoyed Kathryn Newton in the role. I think she did a really great job, especially being her first Marvel film and just having a big debut with Freaky a couple years ago, and now she is in the Marvel movies, and I think she did a pretty solid job. I think one of the things that bothered me so much as a film nerd and a superhero nerd was the fact that this movie doesn't feel like it was made by Peyton Reed. It feels like it was generated in a factory with all the checklists of things that you need for a Marvel film, and it just doesn't feel like his presence is in the film, especially when characters try to make jokes and it just feels so inappropriate and out of place, especially when they're trying to have a big serious moment. It ruins the movie for me, and I just didn't really feel anything with this movie. There is a moment in the third act of the film that you feel like something big could really happen. It could change the whole landscape of the Marvel universe, but it decides to be insanely safe for the audience and nothing really happens. Like, I'm not kidding you, nothing really happens. And you're just like, okay, well, what was the point of watching this movie? Overall, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was such a disappointing movie and will probably end up on my top 10 most disappointing movies of the year when it's all said and done, because I felt like this movie just didn't give me anything as a story or a setup movie, if you want. And I feel like that this is a movie you probably shouldn't go see in theaters unless you are a big Marvel fan or, you know, you just want to see these characters on the screen again. But because this movie is probably going to drop on Disney Plus 3 months from now, this movie is not really worth your time paying all this money to see in a movie theater and just to be disappointed. I know I've been extremely harsh on this movie and acting like it is such a horrible movie, but I think for Marvel standards, it is very, very low, and I think it is the second worst Marvel movie in my opinion. And I just feel like with what Marvel Studios has done and what they're capable of doing and being the highest grossing movie franchise of all time, there is just no excuse. I'm giving Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania a 5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. I just want to know below in the comment section, what did you guys think of this brand new Ant-Man installment, and where would you rank it in your massive Marvel Cinematic Universe movies ranked? I can't wait to hear about that. Before you guys check out this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like as you should, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in the following video.